Hey guys, how can I help you?
Hey, is this where I could get a tour guide?
Of course, it's the Office of Admission and Campus Tours.
Nice. So I have to say, waking up every day and showing off this beautiful campus to incoming students must be such a fun experience.
Oh, it definitely is.
So if you don't mind me asking, what got you into touring?
Well, back in 2020, when I first started, I was a peer advisor, but it was amidst COVID, so I didn't really get to experience much being on campus. But once COVID finished, I got recruited to the Office of Admission to be a tour guide, and I've been there since then.
That's awesome. Can you share a funny or memorable tour moment?
Memorable tour moment? Well, definitely one of them was when I finished giving a tour and I had a conversation with the family telling them about FIU, and they actually invited me to go to the Vicky's Cafe to have a coffee with them. And it was pretty cool, because it was just a general moment to just tell them about my experience at FIU and why they should come.
That's so sweet. What's the most surprising fact about FIU that most people don't know that you would like to mention when touring?
Well, definitely one of them is that we have 56,000 students here. So when people come to FIU and tour, they have no clue about that number. So they're shook to hear that huge population right here in South Florida in our university.
56,000? That's crazy. If you could give a tour to any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Well, I've talked about all the celebrities that visit on campus, like, let me think of a couple. Well, we've had Chris Brown out here. We've had Maluma, Jason Derulo, but definitely one I would give is the one man that I haven't seen on campus, which is Mr. 305 himself, Pitbull.
Pitbull! Now, how do you keep your tours engaging and interactive?
Well, for the most part, I just talk about my experiences. Besides talking about the different buildings that we have here and all the different programs and opportunities here, I just talk about what made FIU so special to me and what I've done here so far.
Now, can you share any secrets as a tour guide that no one knows? Like any tips or tricks?
Well, tips, there's a couple parking spots around campus not a lot of people know about. So definitely, I'm not gonna spoil them, but if you do happen to find them, let me tell you, life becomes so much easier when it comes to finding parking on campus.
What's the best piece of advice you've received as a tour guide?
The best piece of advice? Just to be myself. Obviously, there's tour guides around the country in different universities, but what makes our tour guide special than anybody else is just our experiences that we've had here at FIU.
That's very true. So what's the best piece of advice you'd give to incoming freshmen?
An incoming freshman, I'd probably say, this is the funnier one, but wait a week before buying your textbooks. You'll read the syllabus real quick and be ready to buy everything that's there, but you never know. Sometimes the professors might not even use it. So definitely wait a week before buying those books, because then you can save yourself a lot of money from that.
I know, I feel like so much money is being wasted. Now, if you could play any song while touring, what would it be?
This is just personally me, but any Big Time Rush song, that's just something that sticks with me since high school, so I definitely would play something like that.
I love Big Time Rush. Now, can you tell us about any famous alumni from FIU?
Famous alumni? Well, I would definitely say this one was the most recent one. It's an alumni that was in the Call of Duty games. He was one of the main characters, and I thought that was pretty cool because I played Call of Duty, and it's pretty cool to see how far an FIU student could go and even become a character in a video game.
What? I didn't know that. Now, share a memorable encounter with a prospective student or their family.
Well, besides being able to just get a cafecito because it's such a Miami thing, I think it's just been able to just basically after giving a tour, just walk around with them and just talk about more about FIU, grabbing a bite to eat, taking them to advisors, just giving a little more of an inside scoop of what we have here at FIU besides the general tour.
That's so sweet. Now, can you share a story about a time you got lost on campus?
A time I got lost? I could barely remember. It's been a while, but I could definitely say when I got lost, it was looking for my classes. I'm an engineering major. I was looking for my classes here when a good amount of them were at the engineering center. So it's pretty funny coming and looking for engineering classes here, knowing that a good amount are over there as well.
I know, some people forget that there's 2 other buildings. Now, share a fun fact about one of the campus buildings.
One of the campus buildings? Ooh. Well, the library. I always love talking about the library. It's actually one of the tallest libraries in the southeast region of the United States. We have 8 stories of it. And for the most part, I've seen a lot of schools just have 3 floors. So having 8 stories of it, I think that's something to talk about.
That's awesome. I actually didn't know that. If you could rename one building on campus, what would you call it?
Rename one building. Honestly, every building is unique. If I change it right now, there will be ultimate chaos here. I wouldn't imagine how we would find a way around. But definitely a lot of buildings are named in different languages based on where they were built. So I would name the next building out here the seventh house in a different language. We already got English, Spanish, we got French, German, so any other language really.
If you could describe FIU in 3 words, what would they be?
3 words? Well, in the words of our president of FIU, what FIU really stands for right there is forward thinking. I'm trying to remember. Forward thinking, innovative, and unstoppable. So those are the ones that describe FIU the best way.
And what's your favorite FIU tradition or event?
FIU tradition? Oof. Well, I remember in 2020 when I ran for homecoming, definitely the Uncaged is one of my favorite events because you get to see carnival rides, food opportunities everywhere, and even be able to tell people with all my organizations, I see all my students and my friends just engage and show their Panther pride on that special day.
It's such a fun time. Now, can you say what's the most unusual campus event that you've ever attended?
Unusual? Hey, big. Unusual. Well, there's a lot of different we have 300 organizations out here, and there's always something going on campus. But I would say the most unusual one, maybe Rory's race during homecoming week, because you just imagine walking to class and you see a ton of students running around campus, and you don't know what's going on.
Can you share a funny story from a campus event?
A funny story? I would probably say there's been a lot of opportunities to have a good time out here. But funny is when I'm on tour and me and my fellow Torias, we're just walking and we forget what route we're going. And then we kind of collide with each other. So it kind of feels like Disney World where everyone's like touring and you just say, oh, look, another group, and it's just passing by each other. But that's always a funny time because you just see them occasionally on those tours.
That's so funny. How do you get out of that situation?
Well, it's just communication, and that's something you apply to anything on the average day here at FIU.
What's your favorite spot on campus and why?
Favorite spot? I have a lot of favorite spots, but I would honestly say probably in front of the library on the outside area, right in front of the pond. They have the swinging benches there, super nice to hang out, study, and it's super nice. I like being outdoors.
That's my favorite spot. Now, what's your go-to spot for lunch on campus?
Go-to spot? I love talking about this one. Typically, I go to Bustelo. I always get my café con leche and my croquetas. But if I had to get a bite to eat, I usually just go to either anything here in the Graham Center because my office is right nearby. So I either get Pincho, Almazar, which has amazing food, by the way, or Chili's right here as well.
Nice, that actually sounds so good. And I know you kind of just answered it, but what's your go-to order?
My go-to order? You already heard it there. Café con leche. Maybe on a hot day, since Miami gets to be hot a little bit, I'll probably get a café frío con a little bit of vainilla. So this is where my Spanglish comes in.
Now, if FIU were a movie, what genre would it be?
Definitely a comedy. There's a lot of moments where you just see students smiling, laughing, because it's never always too serious here. We're always here having a good time. Besides, we're only in college for so long, so definitely a funny time.
Now, if FIU had a theme song, what would it be?
A theme song? Ooh. Well, this one just replays on my head always, but definitely Levels from Avicii, because every event there's always something fun, always good vibes, and it just brings the right energy to anything that happens here on campus.
I agree. Share a fun fact about the FIU mascot.
Oh, this one's pretty cool, actually. I found out just a couple months ago that there's actually more than just one person running the mascot, so there's a whole team. So yeah, can you imagine just one Rory doing all the work? Definitely takes a team to make this amazing mascot come to life in every event.
What? And can you tell us about any hidden gems around FIU?
Hidden gems? Well, actually there's one here in the Graham Center. There's a computer lab that actually has cheaper printing than the Rico Printing Center. So if you are trying to save a little bit of cents when it comes to shopping on campus or printing anything, definitely that little computer lab in there will help a lot.
I didn't know that. I almost spent like $7 on almost 2 papers. What's the most breathtaking view on campus?
Breathtaking view? Well, if you're lucky to live in Miami Hall, it's 14 stories tall, and in the 13th floor, you get a good view of all of campus, a great spot to study. I haven't once watched the Inter Miami versus Miami FC game that happened here in the stadium a while back, while just doing homework there. So it's a pretty cool opportunity when it comes to views out here on campus.
Wow, yeah, I know a lot of events kind of happen around here. What's the most Instagram-worthy spot on campus?
Definitely across the library where the pond is, because you get a good view of our iconic library, as well as getting the beautiful sunlight out here. And amazingly, the views are amazing though, no matter what.
What's the most common misconception people have about FIU?
Common misconception? Probably just because we're in a city like Miami, people are just commuting, but you will notice that if you're here on campus quite often, there's a huge population on here no matter what. People here early in the morning to late at night, there's always activity going on here, so it doesn't really get too quiet.
Now, I know you love being a tour guide, but if you could switch places with any faculty member for a day, who would it be?
Faculty member? I will honestly say the boss of my office of admission, because she basically helps admit all these amazing students to our university, and that's what puts us as number 4 as a public institution in America, honestly.
That's awesome. Now, what's the best way for students to get involved on campus?
Well, we do got a program online. It's called Panther Connect. You can see all of our organizations there, and they ultimately post everything that's going on there. So if you want to get involved and find something to do on campus, everything can be found on Panther Connect.
Wow, thank you for that. And can you describe a typical day in the life of an FIU student?
Well, it really depends on what you're studying. It could be you're constantly in the library, or constantly in the lab, or just coming out here to hang out with friends and study, work together. But there's never a real typical day, just what you make the most of here at FIU.
And if you could give one piece of advice to your freshman self, what would it be?
Freshman self? Probably take everything day by day. Don't rush it. It's like, the saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Definitely being here for 4 years means every moment is special. Try to make the most of it no matter what.
That is very true. And can you share a favorite memory from your time at FIU so far?
My favorite memory. There's so many, honestly. So much has happened in 4 years, so that's how you make the most of your time here. But if I had to pick one, man, honestly, it's probably joining my fraternity, because without those guys, I probably wouldn't be here where I am today. They pushed me in every way possible, in academics, social, networking with professionals in the industry. So definitely those memories with my fraternity, from pledging to becoming a brother to networking with the new alumni. It's pretty amazing what a fraternity could do in regards to growing here at FIU.
Yeah, I agree. What's the best spot for a study session on campus?
Well, they do got a lot of study space in the library. Personally, I like it because I tend to get distracted a little bit when it comes to seeing anybody around campus. So either the library or any outdoor spots, because our campus is so beautiful, you don't want to miss out on anything.
That is true. And if you could add one class to the curriculum, what would it be?
One class, ooh. I mean, there's a lot of amazing classes. For engineering, I've been able to experience like the hurricane engineering class, structural analysis, which if anybody takes it, you'll know what I'm talking about soon enough. But if I were to add a class, probably to make things a little more fun, probably a class that allows you to network with more professionals, get out there, so it puts you ready for whatever comes after graduation. Because sometimes, like I tell my students, don't worry if there's not a job lined up or anything, or opportunity still not available yet, because it just takes time for you to work, meet somebody new, network, and ultimately that leads you to where you need to be. So a class that helps you network and kind of build up your resume and things like that, definitely will be useful for a lot of students here.
What's the most underrated aspect of FIU?
Underrated? Underrated. Honestly, I don't think we're underrated. There's a lot of cool things that people just need to go out and experience for themselves, and they'll learn that FIU is a place to be, a lot to discover, and a lot of things to do here.
I agree. And what's the most inspiring thing about the FIU community?
The most inspiring? Just seeing how big the alumni base is, it shows you that it's possible. We have about 300,000 FIU alums, so knowing that a lot of people made it through this college experience, going through all the academic hardship to be where they're at today, I think that's the most inspiring one, because then there's a huge opportunity to network and a lot of people to rely on to kind of help you succeed out here.
And what has been the biggest opportunity that you've had personally here at FIU, even as a tour guide, or like you mentioned before, being in a fraternity?
Well, honestly, I gotta give a shout out to my other organization. These guys are amazing, the American Society for Civil Engineers, our student chapter here. These are the people that helped me build up my resume, network with industry professionals, and just ultimately compete with engineering. I've been able to build a steel bridge that's 20 foot long that holds 2,500 pounds, wooden shed that's 2 stories tall to teach me about structural integrity, and also a canoe that's made out of concrete. Do you think it will float? Because it definitely floated when we competed.
And you being an engineering student, along with being a tour guide, how do you de-stress?
Oh, like I said, being involved allows you to just hang out with friends, go out, ultimately let loose and have a good time here. So there's a lot of things you could do. Besides that, we also have the Wellness Student Health Center, So if you need to go to the gym, you could de-stress through there, which is what I do, or you could go to the Student Health Center where you can finally ultimately get like aromatherapy, acupuncture, we have chiropractors, even a masseuse. So you can definitely get a massage if you're ever stressed out.
Wow, and if you could summarize the FIU experience in one word, what would it be?
Definitely achievable. Anything is possible out here. With FIU, you have all the support you need to be successful here. But, well, it was fun to hang out with you guys, but I got my tour waiting for me, so I got to go help them and show them why it's important to be here at FIU.
Thank you so much. Bye.